2019. And whereas, as a result of the untimely death of former county board member Eric Gutschall on April 16, 2020, which created a vacancy on the county board, the Circuit Court of Arlington County ordered a special election to fill the vacancy to be held on July 7, 2020. Whereas state law provides that when an emergency has been declared by the governor may postpone an election by executive order to a date not exceeding 14 days from the original date of the election, and further provides that where the local governing body determines a longer postponement is required, the governing body may petition a 3-judge panel of the Virginia Supreme Court to extend the special election to a date it deems appropriate, not to exceed the, however, 30 days from the original date of the election. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the County Board of Arlington County, Virginia hereby finds that the July 7, 2020 special election date poses significant, unnecessary risks to public health, jeopardizing election officials, candidates, and the members of the public participating in the election processes, and seriously undermines participation in it. And be it further resolved that the County Board hereby determines that an extension of the July 7, 2020 special election by the governor for up to 14 days is insufficient, and that the special election should be extended to August 4, 2020, or the latest possible date, preferably the date of the general election on November 3, 2020, to increase the likelihood that public activities may resume to the greatest level of normalcy possible while still engaging in safe public health practices, thereby maximizing public participation in the election process. And be it further resolved, the County Board hereby finds that the extension of the July 7, 2020 special election to August 4, 2020 or later would enable a later candidate filing deadline, thereby affording greater time for potential candidates to make the difficult decision whether to participate in the election process during the pendency of the COVID-19 pandemic, where their own health may be at risk. And be it further resolved, this is the last one, that the County Board hereby directs the county attorney to file a petition on behalf of the County Board seeking an extension of the July 7, 2020 special election to August 4, 2020, or such later date as the Virginia Supreme Court selects. Do I have a second for that?
Second.
Thank you. Motion's been moved and seconded. I think everything I read is fairly self-explanatory. I will invite colleagues if they would like to say anything further on this particular resolution. Anybody have more to say?
I have a couple of brief thoughts. My apologies.
Absolutely. Mr. DeFranti.
So, 4 thoughts. First, this is in the best interest of health for everyone in this pandemic. Second, it's in the interest of greater participation for as the nominees are chosen. The more people choosing that, the better for our little d democracy. And then third, come July 1st, we will fully move into a time where early voting does not require an excuse. So we'll have more time for individuals to vote without any concern about even listing an excuse. And then I do support, I think the greatest results for democracy are when you have the greatest participation, and that would be November 3rd.
Thank you, Mr. DeFranti. Ms. Crystal, any comments you'd like to make?
I just want to thank our county attorney and his team for preparing this for us so quickly. Time is really of the essence, particularly with the filing deadline for a special election looming so close. I think for all the reasons stated in the resolution, this is absolutely the right call. If we can't even gather together for a memorial for our colleague, then certainly it's not safe for us to be gathering to replace him. And I hope that the court and governor heed our request.
Thank you. Mr. Dorsey.
So unfortunately, I wish we were not in this position at all to even be considering this resolution and this petition, but it's the circumstance that is before us. And as has been said, the latest possible date, in which case November 3rd strikes me as one that works really well for a number of reasons. One, it is an already scheduled election. It is one that's not going to require any increased marginal costs for our community to conduct, especially in light of the budget conversation that we just had. Any dollar not devoted to holding an election during a time when it's not necessary could go to better support real human needs that have resulted from this pandemic. But I want to underscore that what we have also asked is not just that the date of the election be changed, but that the court act on this with all due speed, so that if there can be a change to the filing deadline, that Any person who is interested in this office can go through their own due diligence to consider and to mount whatever necessary campaign they would like to mount. That is in the best interest of ensuring that the seat so nobly held by our departed colleague will be held by the most capable person who's got the broadest possible support in our community. That is the very least that we should demand. And this is the only mechanism that we have to pursue that outcome.
Thank you. Thank you, colleagues, and thank you to our attorney for pulling this together. This whole thing just kind of adds to the sense sometimes, I don't know, of unreality of what we're dealing with right now. It's hard to believe that Eric's gone and that we need to do this. I think it's so clear that the public health and the health of our democracy depends on really postponing this. To do it as rapidly as is planned right now, I think just would not be good for anyone. So I'm hoping that the courts will hear us. So thank you. All right. Anything further to say, colleagues? At this point, I think we're ready to vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. Motion passes 4-0.